Hello, this is the second video where I'm trying to feed back some of the prophetic words that we felt the Lord shared with us at the From Everywhere to Everywhere conference, and in particular that we might turn those matters to prayer. The two videos are themed around the sense of being called from everywhere to, and the first one was to the nations. This one is to our own local area, perhaps more local for those of us who live in Norfolk and North Suffolk. We feel the Lord speaking. Our response then is to pray. If you feel the Lord specifically speaking to you through this, then I very much encourage you to seek out your local elders and chat with them, or you could also consider getting in contact with me if you wanted to. So the first word, which I'm repeating from the first video, is the pathway. 1 Peter 2:5, you yourselves are being built. The image is of a living pathway and us, the paving stones of it. And the question the Lord asking us, are we willing to be transplanted from our current place? I wonder how open we are to the Lord moving us to be involved in his work in a new place, perhaps. Here's the next word that came. It was about the coastal communities. I saw the map of the Norfolk coast. Along the coastlines, new lights were coming on, and I just felt God would say there's going to be new coastal communities coming to life along the coast, like new estuaries of grace. I feel like God says there's going to be a move for some from the large to the small, for moves from towns and cities of thousands to close-knit communities. Yet what I saw was whole families moving. I feel like God says he's going to call some families into multi-generational mission. It's like God is captivating and commissioning whole families for adventures with him. His purpose is being worked out across the age groups. For some, I feel that God wants to impart a fresh faith and trust that if you make the move, he will take care of your children. For some, I feel like God has spoken to you in the past about going, about turning over new soil, and you've been waiting for the ideal time when everything seems to fit, when all the pieces line up. But I feel God says, trust me with your families, trust me with your finances, trust me to provide, step out. I believe God wants to breathe life into the embers of promises he's made over people in the past. Promises in regards to pioneering, to starting new works. God says there is a season of sending coming for us as a group of churches. I wonder if the Lord is particularly speaking to you about mission to our coastal communities, maybe speaking to you, reminding you of things he said in the past, and perhaps that's speaking directly to you right now. The second word really about from the larger to the smaller. There would be some inconvenient moves made to smaller villages. The tendency is to move to towns or the cities, but there's something in this next season that requires a reverse engineering, inconvenient move in the natural, but very fruitful for the gospel. Stretch the curtains and lengthen the stakes. It's lots of small stakes being strengthened to support the canopy, a bit like the O2 arena shape, right across the region with big stakes that support the canopy. This linked to the idea of the tithe house. Rather than one big thing, we'll have many smaller expressions, just as it would have been in times gone by, households, farms, etc., bringing their contributions into the tithe house, the small enabling the big to happen. So perhaps we need to move away from looking for large expressions, but then celebrating the gathering of all the smalls that make up the large. And as this word was shared, there were 3 places in particular that were highlighted, beginning with BR: Brancaster, Bristol and Brundall, perhaps just examples of small places. So we need wisdom to know about how to do church planting mission together in the new season. It's all about reaching everyone, everywhere, villages, urban estates, towns, and so on. Perhaps you have an interest in Brancaster, Bristol or Brundall, or maybe somewhere else in the region. The 2020 Mission Initiative is about re-evangelizing this area of Norfolk and North Suffolk. 20 more places in the next 20 years, from everywhere to everywhere. So 3 particular things to pray about, please. First of all, for our own hearts and us as churches, that we'd be open to the call to go wherever that might be, that our churches would be known as sending churches. Secondly, for those with perhaps a historic call to the coastal communities, for them to revisit that call and for a wave of families to be sent to these coastal communities on mission. And then thirdly, for many new works to be raised up in unity across the small communities. Perhaps you might pray specifically for Brancaster, Bristol, and Brundall, but maybe there are places that are on your heart in this region as well that you'd like to just name before the Lord. So pray for our hearts and our churches. Pray for those with a historic call to the coastal communities and for many small works to be raised up in unity across this region. Thanks for your prayers.